What's going on, y'all? This is CJ UFC Picks The Smoke Sesh. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Like the video, share the video, and comment on the video who your dog of the card is, who you like to win the fight. Make sure to comment on the video and help the algorithm out. Help me out and subscribe to the channel. We give you free picks, free predictions, free bets each and every single week for every single UFC Fight Night and UFC pay-per-view right here on this channel, CJ UFC Picks. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video, and comment on the video. Even if you're a hater, comment on the video. I would love to see your comments. Here to break down, here to give you our free predictions, our free picks for UFC Fight Night Vegas 80, Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson. That should be a good fight. But first, let's recap what happened last week on UFC Fight Night Vegas 79, which was a pretty good card. Fiziev versus Gamrot. I got robbed on a couple of those fights, ladies and gentlemen. I went 7-4 on that card. 7 wins and 4 losses. But I should have went 9-2 on that card. And let me explain. The Jacob Malkoun versus Cody Brundage fight, I definitely got robbed in that fight. Cody Brundage is a wuss. He did not want to continue fighting. He got illegally elbowed to the back of the head, which was BS. I mean, he could have continued that fight, but he did not want to continue because he knows he was losing. He was getting dominated in that fight. So Jacob Malkoun should have won that fight. He was going to win that fight, and I should have won that pick. I should have won that bet. And the main event, I got robbed again, ladies and gentlemen. Fiziev was winning that fight. Fiziev was going to win that fight. But unfortunately, he got injured. That knee injury looked pretty nasty. So I hope he gets a full recovery, a speedy recovery. And my prayers go to Fiziev so he can come back to the octagon and do what he does best, and that's whoop some ass. He was going to whoop Gamrot's ass in that fight, but unfortunately he got injured. The fight got stopped, and Gamrot won that fight. But we still went 7-4. We're still in the green. We're still in the positive. We're still winning picks. And tonight we are breaking down UFC Fight Night Vegas 80, Bobby Green versus Grant Dawson, which should be a good fight. Let's start off with the first fight. But before we do that, make sure to roll one up. Make sure to spark one up. Today we have some peanut butter breath. Some good shit right here, ladies and gentlemen. Some good stuff. First fight of the night, we got Martella De La Rosa versus JJ Aldrich. Martella De La Rosa, she's 12, 8 and 1. 28 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. JJ Aldrich, she's 12 and 6, 31 years old, 5'5", 67.5-inch reach. And I believe that JJ Aldrich is coming back really, really fast. She just fought like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And then we got Montel De La Rosa. She fought about 6 months ago, and she lost to Tatiana Suarez, which is an okay loss. Before that, she did lose to Macy Barber. Her last win was 2 years and 2 months ago to Ariane Lipski. For JJ Aldrich, she did win against Na Liang, and I think Na Liang is garbage. Na Liang should not be in the UFC, but she did win against Na Liang. She lost to Ariane Lipski. She lost to Erin Blanchfield, which is not a bad loss. And her last win was 1 year and 6 months ago against Julian Robertson. And then she went against Vanessa Demopoulos, which I think is on this card. This is going to be a tough fight to call. Um, this is going to be a fight that I'm not going to bet straight up. No money line bets. I might just bet the over on this fight, depending on the line here. Um, my heart, my gut is telling me to go with Montella, Montana De La Rosa to win this fight. I think she's gonna bounce back. I think she's gonna get her wrestling going here. I think she's a better wrestler, better grappler, and probably a better striker as well. I like Montana De La Rosa in this fight. And I do believe DJ Aldrich is coming in as a last minute replacement. So she's not getting a full camp here if that's the case. Give me Montana De La Rosa to win by decision. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled in the women's strawweight division, we have Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Diana Belbiţă. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she's 16 and 7, 37 years old, 5'3", 64-inch reach. Then we got Diana Belbiţă. She's 16 and 7, 15 and 7, same record, 27 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. Another close fight to call. Another fight I might stay away from money line wise. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, she's on a 3-fight winning streak, looking really impressive lately. Then we got Diana Belbiţă. She's win loss, win loss. She's only won the last 2 out of her 5 fights. And Karolina, like I said, she's on a 3-fight winning streak. So she's won the last 3 out of her 5 fights, which I like better. And I like her better in this fight. Even though she's got a 10-year age gap, I like her better in this fight. I like the momentum. I'm going to ride the momentum here with Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I think she's going to win, and I think she's going to probably dominate this fight. I think she's better anywhere the fight goes: striking, grappling, wrestling, cardio. Give me Karolina Kowalkiewicz to win by decision. I'm probably not going to win, bet it money line wise. If I haven't looked at the lines, ladies and gentlemen, at all. So if Karolina is an underdog, I might throw a few bucks on her. Why not? Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is a sneaky banger fight scheduled in the men's flyweight division. We got Nate Maness versus Mateus Mendonça. Nate Maness, he's 14 and 3, 32 years old, 5'10", 72-inch reach. Mateus Mendonça, he's 10 and 1, 24 years old, 5'6", 71.5-inch reach. I don't think this fight's going the distance, ladies and gentlemen. I think somebody's going to get knocked out or submitted. Both of these guys do look for the finish. Both of these guys are pretty good. And Nate Maness riding a 2-fight losing streak. But he's fought really good competition in those fights. He fought Tagir Ulanbekov, lost by submission. Very excusable loss. Same thing for a decision loss against Umar Nurmagomedov. And I think that's a very excusable loss. Umar Nurmagomedov is a beast. And then he was on a 3-fight winning streak before that. He won against Tony Gravely, he won against Luke Sanders, and he won against Johnny Munoz Jr. Then we got Mateus Mendonça. He's only lost 1 fight in his professional career against Javid Basharat, which is a really excusable loss. And then he was on a 9-fight winning streak before that. But Nate Maness is definitely going to have the experience here, the UFC experience. He's fought the tougher competition. He could win this fight. This is going to be a close fight. I'm not sure who to pick. I'm not 100% on any of these guys. Might stay away again, once again, money line wise. But my gut, my heart is saying Mateus Mendonça is going to win here. He's younger. He has more power, in my opinion. Faster on the feet. Better on the ground. But like I said, Nate Maness does have the UFC experience and has fought the tougher competition. So I would not be surprised if Nate Maness won this fight. But my pick for this fight, I'm going with Mateus Mendonça by submission. That's my pick and that's my prediction for this fight. Not 100% sure, but I'm going with that. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a very good fight. This should be on the main card, to be honest. Scheduled in the men's bantamweight division, we got Chris Gutierrez versus Montel Jackson. Chris Gutierrez, he's 19 4 and 2. 32 years old, 5'9", 67-inch reach. Montel Jackson, 13 and 2. 31 years old, 5'10", 75.5-inch reach. Like I said, this is going to be a very good fight. Very close fight. I like both of these guys. They're both still young. They're both still in their prime. Chris Gutierrez did lose his last fight against Pedro Munoz by decision. But before that, he was on a nice winning streak there. He won against Frankie Edgar. He won against Bacterel Dana. He won against Philipe Corrales. And he won against Andre Ewell. I don't think those two guys are in the UFC anymore. And then Montel Jackson won against Ronnie Yaya. He won against Julio Arce. He won against JP Buys and Jesse Strader. This is going to be a close fight. But I'm going with Chris Gutierrez to win. I think he's better. He's got more experience. And I just think he's going to bounce back from that loss against Pedro Munoz. He didn't look himself in that fight, in my opinion. But I think he's going to come in here and show us why he's so good. He's very underrated. He falls under the radar for a lot of people, in my opinion. So give me Chris Gutierrez to win this fight, probably by decision. I'm going with decision here. I think Montel Jackson is tough enough to last 3 rounds. Chris Gutierrez is not that much of a finisher, even though he has some knockouts on his record. But I think Chris Gutierrez is going to edge out with a victory in this fight. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled in the men's bantamweight division. We have Johnny Munoz Jr. versus Aoriqileng. Johnny Munoz Jr., he's 12 and 3, 30 years old, 5'9", 71-inch reach. Aoriqileng, he's 24 and 11, 30 years old, sorry, not 34. He's 30 years old, 5'7" with a 69.3-inch reach. I don't think this fight's going the distance. Someone is going to get knocked out. Aoriqileng, 30 years old with over 30 fights on his record. 24-11, so he's got 35 fights under his belt. And he's only 30 years old. Then we got Johnny Munoz Jr., who has a wishy-washy record in the UFC. Even though he's only 12 and 3, those 3 losses have been in the UFC. He lost against Nate Maness, he lost against Tony Gravely, and he lost against Daniel Santos. Aoriqileng, he lost against Ayman Zahabi, Cody Durden, and Jeff Molina. Aoriqileng does have more experience. He's probably more powerful too. They're both the same age. Man, this is going to be another close fight to pick, another close fight to call. This is a tricky card, ladies and gentlemen. But my heart, my gut, I have to go with the more experienced fighter, Aoriqileng, to win this fight by knockout. I think Johnny Munoz Jr. is not that great in my opinion, even though he only has 3 losses on his record. He's not UFC caliber, in my opinion. He might pull off the upset here. Who knows? But I don't think so. I think Aoriqileng is going to win by knockout. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled in the women's strawweight division, we have Kanako Murata versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Not really excited about this fight. Kanako Murata, she's 12-2, 30 years old, 5'1", 62-inch reach. Vanessa Demopoulos, she's 9-5, 35 years old, 5'2", 59.5-inch reach. Not really an exciting fight in my book. Really don't care who wins this fight. Might take this fight as a snack break, to be honest. And I think this fight goes to decision. Kanako Murata hasn't fought in 2 years. And she lost her last fight due to an injury, doctor stoppage. But before that, she was on a tear, on a winning streak there. She only has 2 UFC fights compared to Vanessa Demopoulos, who's been in the UFC for a little bit now. But she's also not that great. She's not that great whatsoever. Not sure who to pick on this fight. Like I said, this is going to be a tricky fight. Very hard fights to call. But I have to go with Vanessa Demopoulos to win by decision. Kanako, 2-year layoff, only has 2 UFC fights. Vanessa has fought the tougher competition. And I think she's good enough to win against Kanako Murata. I might be wrong. Do not take my word for this on this fight. I'm not 100% sure on this fight. And I really don't care about this fight, so I'm moving on. Vanessa Demopoulos by decision. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is on the main card for UFC Fight Night Vegas 80. Dawson versus Green. Before I get to the main card, before I do this breakdown, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like the video, make sure to comment on the video, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so every time I upload a video, you get that notification and you can watch us. You can watch CJUFC Picks smoking on some fire weed and giving you fire picks. This fight is scheduled in the men's welterweight division. We have Alex Morono versus Joaquin Buckley. Alex Morono, 23-8, 33 years old, 5'11", 72-inch reach. Joaquin Buckley, 16-6, 29 years old, 5'10", 76-inch reach. Another close fight to call. This is going to be a banger, and I think someone is going to get. Can't even talk. Someone is getting finished in this fight. Alex Morono, very underrated fighter, very good fighter. He's won the last 4 out of his 5 fights. Only lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio 9 months ago, but then he won against Tim Means, he won against Matthew Selmelsberger, Mickey Gall, and David Zawada. Joaquin Buckley, his last win against Andre Fialho, but Andre Fialho sucks. As you saw on UFC Fight Night Vegas in his last fight against Tim Means a couple days ago, This dude sucks and should be cut from the UFC. So, not a very impressive win in that, in my opinion. There, he lost against Chris Curtis. He lost against Nasruddin Imamov. He did win against Albert Duraev, and Albert Duraev is not that good in my opinion. And he also won against Abdul Razak Alhassan, which I believe he's on this card. I'm going with Alex Morono here. I like him. He's got more experience, fought the tougher competition, has more volume, and like I said, he's very underrated. He's good. I like Alex Morono. Give me Alex Morono to win this fight. I don't care what anyone says. I like him here, and I think he gets the victory. Probably by submission. I think he gets it done by submission. Give me him by submission, yeah. Submission or decision in that fight. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is a fight that's definitely not going the distance. Someone is getting finished in this fight. Guarantee it. Scheduled in the men's light heavyweight division, we got Philipe Lins versus Ion Cutelaba. Man, talk about a fight that's going to be sloppy. Talk about a fight that someone's going to finish. Let's just say that. Philipe Lins, he's 17 and 5, 38 years old, 6'2", 78-inch reach. Ion Cutelaba, 17 and 9, 29 years old, 6'1", 75-inch reach. Philipe Lins riding a three-fight winning streak. Ion Cutelaba has only won the last two out of his five fights. Philipe Lins, he's won against Marcin Prachnio, Ove St. Preux, and Maxime Grishin. Ion Cutelaba, his last win against Tano Bozer. Then he had three straight losses. Once again, he lost against Kennedy and Nzechukwu, lost against Johnny Walker, a loss against Ryan Spann, and then he won against Devin Clark. Man, this is a tough fight to call. All of these fights on this card are tough to call. I gotta go with Philipe Lins. I gotta ride the momentum here. I know he's 38 years old. I know he's not that great, but I think he's good enough to win against Ion Cutelaba. Philipe Lins does have knockout power, and we all know Ion Cutelaba does have a glass chin. He's been finished multiple times, and I expect the same in this fight. I think Ion Cutelaba is getting slept. He's going to get knocked out by Philipe Lins, and that's my pick. That is my prediction. Philipe Lins to win by knockout, TKO, or DQ in this fight. That's my pick, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, for sure. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is gonna be a banger. Scheduled in the men's featherweight division, we got Bill Algeo versus Alexander Hernandez. Bill Algeo, 17 and 7, 34 years old, 6 foot even, 73-inch reach. Alexander Hernandez, 14 and 6, 31 years old, 5'9", 72-inch reach. This should be an exciting fight. Very good fight right here. Bill Algeo, he's got his last win against TJ Brown by submission. Lost against Andre Fili split decision, which was a very good close fight. He won against Herbert Burns. He won against Joe Anderson Brito, which we all know Joe Anderson Brito is a monster. And he lost against Ricardo Ramos. And then Alexander Hernandez, decision win against Jim Miller. Lost against Billy Quarantillo. Lost against Renato Moicano. Won against Mike Breeden, and lost against Thiago Moises. And I think he's going to lose to Bill Algeo here. I think Bill Algeo is too good for Alexander Hernandez. Hernandez is a streaky fighter. He won only the last two out of his five fights, and Bill Algeo has won the last three out of his five fights. But in my opinion, Bill Algeo has looked better in his fights compared to Alexander Hernandez because Bill Algeo hasn't been finished in the last five fights. Alexander Hernandez has been finished in his last five fights. So I think that's going to happen here. I think Bill Algeo wins by decision or submission. Hernandez, he could have been a very good fighter. He was on my radar, but if you can't finish an old Jim Miller, I don't think you're going to be able to finish Bill Algeo here. I think Bill Algeo has better cardio, better wrestling, and I think he's going to win this fight by decision. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled in the men's lightweight division, we got Drew Dober versus Ricky Glenn. Drew Dober, he's 26 and 12, 34 years old, 5'9", 70-inch reach. Ricky Glenn, he's 22 and 7, 34 years old, 6 foot even, 70-inch, .5-inch reach. I expect this fight also not to go the distance because both of these guys go for it. Both of these guys will fight for your money. Drew Dober has a great chin, knockout power. Ricky Glenn, he's a really good underdog. He's definitely a dog, live dog in this fight. This fight is going to be good, ladies and gentlemen. I think Drew Dober is going to win this fight. I think he's going to knock Ricky Glenn out. Ricky Glenn has been knocked out before. He got knocked out by Christos Giagos in his last fight. And Drew Dober definitely hits harder than Christos Giagos. I think Drew Dober has this fight in the bag. I think this is quite an easy pick, ladies and gentlemen. Not like a close fight like these last fights that I've been talking about. Drew Dober, faster on the feet, more power, and he's got a good chin. Give me Drew Dober to win by knockout against Ricky Glenn. Even though Drew Dober did lose by knockout himself to Matt Frevola, but I think Matt Frevola can do the same thing to Ricky Glenn. So, yeah, give me Drew Dober to win by knockout. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is the co-main event of the evening for UFC Fight Night, UFC Vegas 80, Dawson versus Green. Scheduled in the men's middleweight division, we have Joe Pyfer versus Abdul Razak Alhassan. Joe Pyfer, he's 11 and 2, 27 years old, 6'2", 75-inch reach. Abdul Razak Alhassan, he's 12 and 5, 38 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. And I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I usually give my lock of the card on Thursdays on my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So go follow me on there. CJUFCPicks on all social media platforms. And I'm going to tell you right now, my lock of the card for UFC Fight Night Vegas 80, Dawson versus Green, is Joe Body Bags Pyfer by knockout or TKO against Abdul Razak Alhassan. There's no doubt about it. Guaranteed money. It's going to happen, folks. Pyfer has this literally in the bag, no pun intended. Joseph Bodybags Pyfer wins this fight by knockout, TKO. I promise you, lock of the card, lock it in, put it in the bag. Count your money already, folks. Joe Pyfer has this. That's my pick. He's my lock of the card for UFC Fight Night Vegas. This guy is on a 4-fight winning streak, and I believe they're all by knockout or TKO. He won by knockout TKO in the contender series against Ozzy Diaz. He won against Alan Amadovsky by knockout TKO, and then he won against by knockout TKO against Gerald Mearshart. So what do you think is going to happen here? It's going to happen again. He's going to continue his winning streak, and he's going to knock out Abdul, Razak, Alhassan, who's 38 years old, probably going to get cut after this fight because he's not that great, ladies and gentlemen. I know he won against Claudio Ribeiro in his last fight, and I think Joe Pyfer will definitely win against Claudio Ribeiro as well. But before that, he lost a split decision against Joaquin Buckley. He won against Alicio Di Chirico. He lost against Jacob Malkoon, and he lost against Chaos Williams. He's gonna lose to Joe Pyfer. Guarantee it. Easy money, easy lock, easy win, easy play. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is the main event of the evening for UFC Fight Night, UFC Vegas 80. Dawson versus Green. Before I do this breakdown, before I give you my pick, before I let you know who I think is going to win, make sure to subscribe. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and show your boy support. Like the video, comment on the video who your picks are, who your dog of the card is, who your lock of the card is. And if you want to find out my official picks, my official lock, and my official underdog of the week, go over to Twitter, go over to TikTok or Instagram, CJUFCPicks, and give me a follow on there. The main event of the evening is scheduled in the men's lightweight division. We have Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green. Grant Dawson, he's 20-1, 29 years old, 5'10", 72-inch reach. Bobby Green, he's 30-14, 37 years old, 5'10", with a 71-inch reach. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure why this fight is going on because this fight has no title contender. It's not a title contender. It's not a number one contender fight. And quite frankly, I think this is going to be an easy fight for Grant Dawson. I think Grant Dawson wins this fight all freaking day. I mean, Bobby Green, no disrespect to you, bro, but Grant Dawson is just going to take you down, wrestle you, and control you for the majority of this fight. Bobby Green definitely has more power, better boxing, and better striking. But Grant Dawson, better wrestling, better grappling, better ground control, better submissions, younger, faster, better cardio. It's just better overall. The only thing that Bobby Green has is better boxing and better striking, probably more powerful. But I don't think that's going to be enough because Bobby Green is not a KO guy. He doesn't finish people. He has to work towards the finish. And I don't think he's got enough of that to beat Grant Dawson in this fight. Grant Dawson and Joe Pyfer are two of my most confident picks on this card. And that's a pretty good parlay right there. Dawson and Pyfer. That should be your parlay. I'm going to bet that actually. Not sure what the line's going to be because I haven't seen the lines yet. Hopefully it's plus money. Give me Dawson, give me Pyfer in a parlay. Give me Dawson in this fight, and I think he's gonna get it done by submission or by decision. Most likely a decision, because Bobby Green is tough, but I can see a rear naked choke in this fight. I can see a submission happening for Grant Dawson. Either way, Grant Dawson is gonna win, and it's probably gonna be a pretty clear victory for Dawson by decision. But I'm going by submission. Give me submission. I don't care. Either way, like I said, Dawson's going to win this fight. Pretty easy victory for him here. He's beaten Damir Ismagulov, and Damir's a very good fighter. He beat Mark Madsen, which is an Olympic wrestler. He beat Jared Gordon. He beat Leonardo Santos, and he went to a majority draw with Ricky Glenn. And for Bobby Green, he did win against Tony Ferguson, but Tony Ferguson's washed up. He's not that great anymore. He's not the boogeyman anymore. He's just washed up and probably going to lose his next fight against Paddy Pimblett. He went. He did have a accidental clash of heads with Jared Gordon. Lost against Drew Dober. Lost against Islam Makhachev, but who doesn't lose against Islam Makhachev? And then he did win against Nasrat Haqparast, which is a decent victory there. But give me Grant Dawson. He's going to win this fight. Younger, better in the grappling, better in the wrestling, better in the submissions. So yeah, that was the breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you smoked with me. Next time, if you don't smoke, that's okay. Just roll one up. Take a bong hit. Do some dabs. Whatever you do, hit the pen. But make sure to subscribe. CJUFC Picks. Like the video. Share the video. Tell everyone you know about CJUFC Picks. We have been killing it week after week after week after week. We have been in the positive. We have been in the green. We have been on a winning streak here, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure to join us each and every single week. We will be back to do another breakdown probably next week or the week after, because this is an off week for UFC. But we're here. We don't take off weeks. We're here each and every single week. CJUFC Picks. We're out of here, folks. Take it easy.